And as federal layoffs continue, one local member of Congress is proposing legislation she says would bring more transparency and accountability to DOGE. 13 on Your Side political reporter Josh Alberta spoke with that member of Congress. And Josh, what did she tell you about this?
Yeah, Juliet, she's aiming to enshrine sort of a similar accountability standard for DOGE as compared to long-standing federal agencies. Recently, you've had some saying it's good that waste is being cut in the government. They feel waste making it, in their view, potentially more efficient. But Scholten says some of what's been seen have been reckless cuts. So she says a new bill of hers would clarify that DOGE is subject to the Freedom of Information Act, one that journalists and members of the public often use to get access to certain public government records. Another that she said she helped introduce would involve barring those without proper authorization from having access to private taxpayer data. That's what she explained to us about those, but she also spoke to us on the reportedly hundreds of layoffs at NOAA, data and research that people and meteorologists across the country can often depend on to predict and to know. Take a listen to what she had to say on both of these topics.
Part of the problem with DOGE is that it is a temporary agency that is not subject to the same oversight and accountability measures as other agencies that arguably have the same, even lesser powers than DOGE has assumed. This is exactly what we are talking about with the reckless cuts that don't keep in mind the critical work that some of these federal workers are doing. Reported hundreds of cuts to NOAA right before severe weather season is upon us.
And it's now up to the Republican-led House whether those bills she mentioned will indeed be taken up further. Juliet.
So, Josh, any idea on whether Scholten's legislation will go anywhere?
Well, this legislation, Juliet, is pretty fresh, just introduced in the House this month. So it's now been put to the relevant committee. That's the typical process. But according to the congressional record, it hasn't yet seen any more movement since. But any developments on that legislation, we'll be sure to keep you updated, Juliet.
All right. Thank you, Josh.